So they must be really desperate. And I think the $92 billion that the FDIC has right now, which includes 3 years of dues, and those 3 years are ahead of time. So there's no place else to draw from except the federal government. And, if 500 banks go under, it's going to cost about $500 billion. And with $92 billion, what do you do? I mean, does the government, the Treasury, tell the Fed, print up another $500 billion to buy our bonds and monetize that money? We will do that for you, of course. And are they going to continue to feed this monster? I mean, supposing it's 2,000 banks over the next 2 years that go under, or 2.5 years, are they going to come up with $1 trillion? I don't think so. And I think FDIC has got some serious, serious trouble.
Well, I certainly agree with you. One of the things I was really fascinated to read is that Fannie Mae is talking about very, very soon beginning to tighten down on requirements to get a home loan. And as you read what's going on, despite all the problems we've had with writing subprime loans, they're still writing subprime loans, and they're subsidizing the down payment on these for homes for people who can't afford to buy homes. Why would we be creating another cycle of subprime loans at the present time and subsidizing the people who can't afford to buy a home? We'll be right back in just a moment here. Well, this is Dr. Stan. Our guest, of course, is Bob Chapman from the International Forecaster, and our telephone number out across America, 1-888-24-LIBERTY. 1-888-24-LIBERTY or 464-8295. And I can hardly believe my eyes as I'm reading the Wall Street Journal this evening, where they're pointing the fact that the Fannie Mae, of course, that is the federal agency, extension of the government that is responsible for most of the home loans today. Fannie Mae is actually talking about clamping down on the availability of home mortgages, and so they're going to stop subsidizing the people that they've been subsidizing who are buying the new homes or used homes who can't afford it. I mean, they don't have any money for a down payment. So what do? Well, you give them a subsidy, give them a government grant, you do something so that the government's paying the closing costs on these people who cannot afford to buy a home. These are subprime home loans. You loan money to somebody who can't afford to buy a loan, and it's going to go into default. They lose their job. They're not making enough money. Of course they're going to lose it. We've already had one cycle of this that it almost wrecked our country, and they're doing it all over again. But they're saying, but we're going to quit doing that one of these days. Have you been aware of that fact, Bob? Because it's totally illogical.
That's right. And as you say, it's another method of taking us down all over again. They have to, and goodness knows I've written about this for years, just as you have, they have to destroy the economic and financial structure of the United States and Western Europe in order to force people to accept world government. And this tiny enclave of people worldwide who control probably 65-70% of the world's total wealth, they don't mind losing $10 trillion if they can control people. I mean, maybe they've got $30 trillion. I mean, who knows? The point is, they're willing to give up almost anything for this mad dream. I mean, it's even Hitlerian in nature. And, of course, everything you see in both areas is one form of socialism or another. It's either communism, like we got a communist for a president, or you go to Europe and you have pure socialism, and then you go to Washington and you've got fascism. I mean, they're all socialism. They're all bad. They don't work, and but that's what it is. And they want to herd us together so that they can control us, and that's what it's all about. And, you know, the disturbing thing about this, Dan, is that people who understand the financial markets and understand society, very, very few of them will come out and say what we do on this program. And I can't understand why, because they know they are not dumb people. And it's disgusting.
Well, we've got a new DVD. We just watched it a couple of days ago with my wife, called The Obama Deception, The Obama Deception, put out by Alex Jones. He did a great job. He interviewed Gerald Celente and a few others, Webster Tarpley, and a small group who will just tell you exactly what it is. They're intentionally destroying our economy. When you understand this is not happening by accident, these people in charge are not stupid. They know what they're doing. And Gerald Celente lays it right on the job, on the line. So does Webster Tarpley, and so does a couple of the other people they interview. A very good DVD called The Obama Deception. We certainly recommend it to our listeners. Well, our telephone number is 1-888-24-LIBERTY. 1-888-24-LIBERTY or 464-8295. And if you got a question, a comment, why, give us a call. But right now, people have to understand the market has been jacked up temporarily. I mean, it looks like it's just going to keep going up, and it's not. And you read people like Richard Russell or Joe Granville or so many of the people who really understand. And the market's going up not on rising demand, but on slowing demand. When the market goes up with slow demand and very, very few people buying, you know it's all manipulated, but nobody's going to tell you the market is totally manipulated. And until you understand that they have the working group on financial markets out there simply manipulating the stock market and the gold market and the silver market and the commodity market, and of course they have unlimited funds. And of course, but when this thing comes tumbling down, say goodbye to your insurance policy, say goodbye to your pension funds, say goodbye to your life savings. Well, this is Dr. Stan back here at Radio Liberty. We've got George calling from Toronto. Hi, George. How you doing?
I'm great, Dr. Stan. You know, Dr. Stan, I'm wondering what it will take for the military probably to step in and just do a military coup and take over the government.
Well, we've never had that happen in America. That is against the tradition of our military. They've never done that. It's always been duty, honor, country. Whether you like the president or not, you do not interfere with the political process. The president is the commander-in-chief of the Army. What are your thoughts on that, Bob?
Well, what you say is so. And but I think, in talking to current middle to upper designations such as field grade officers and top sergeants and gunnery sergeants, they are deeply, deeply disturbed with what they see. These are active people, and some of them are retired as well. And they say that it's not something that the regular military wants to do, but it's certainly conceivable under the circumstances. The Pentagon is essentially a den of thieves, unfortunately, and other offices don't look kindly upon it. Another thing that has been said to me by people in those positions is that if any foreign troops ever come to the United States, they will not leave. And I think they're probably on the verge of perhaps changing the tradition if this thing continues the way it is. If this thing can't be settled amicably, legally, there probably will be a coup in America. And it'll probably save a lot of bloodshed.
Okay, does that answer your question, George? Hang on there. We'll be back in just a moment here. Well, this is Dr. Stan. Our guest, of course, this evening is Bob Chapman, and we just had George calling from Toronto asking, will the military, American military, interfere in their loyalty is to the Constitution, not to the invisible government, that the subversive group that controls our government today. Because remember, we have a visible government